Hi everybody and welcome back! Today what I wanted to talk to you all about is a video production topic. And yes, long time no see. Above me I have a boom mic. This is normally a shotgun or a pencil condenser mic. In my case it's a pencil condenser microphone. And then I also have a lav mic on me here. And so I thought it would be interesting to talk about lav versus shotgun. So right now you're hearing the boom mic. Again, this could be a shotgun. In my case, it's a pencil condenser mic. It's a Samson CO2. These are processed, so keep that in mind. But I'm processing them in a relatively similar way. The lav, one thing I will do... There, now we're listening to the lav. I will let you listen just for a second here without me doing an EQ on it. And the lav, I think, really benefits from a little bit of EQ, especially considering where it's on my chest. It's got more bass than the pencil condenser microphone or a shotgun mic would up on a stand out of the frame. So that is something to keep in mind, is you may want to EQ them differently. And from what I understand, a lot of productions, they choose to often record with both a pencil condenser or a shotgun microphone, a boom mic, if you will, out of the frame, above the talent, in my case, pointed right at me, out of the frame. Sorry about that. My nose is a little stuffy. And then also, they will at the same time often have a lav mic hidden on the talent, or in the case of something like a documentary, they might actually have the microphone placed on the person visibly to get the best quality audio. This is something I thought I would experiment with because usually I just use a lav. They're quicker to set up in my experience. And while a lot of people seem to not like the sound of a lav mic, I find with just a tiny bit of tweaking, they sound pretty darn good. It also helps people like me that are very animated and like to walk around and move. It means the mic goes with me. For example, this microphone I'm pointing at just slightly out of the frame. I can't do that, right? This microphone, if I was to move, like say I move over here, now it's not directly facing me. And now it is again. And you can see that that's a difference. So I personally am of the belief that it's probably a good idea to have backups in this business, in the filmmaking, whether you're doing it for fun or for actual work. If you can afford it, backups is probably a good idea. I hate having to do retakes of anything. I'll do it, but I don't like it. So, especially my YouTube videos. A short film or something that makes a lot more sense to do retakes of. But a YouTube video like this, I want to just get it pretty decently right on the first try, okay? And so having multiple audio sources is great. So this one's going into my Pocket 6K Pro, the Samson CO2 is. And then I've got my lav, which is going into a field recorder from Zoom in my pocket. And in the past, I've also used this little wireless transmission kit, wireless lav kit, as well for transmission. So... yeah, another thing I'll bring up about lav mics too is that you can have two lav mics, two transmitter packs, etc., and you can record multiple people. And again, if you're people like me and they're animated, they're moving around a lot, or you don't know what they're going to do, it might be better to lav them, in my idea, just because it seems to make more sense. Now, I will point out, I'm not a professional sound mixer, and so these are just kind of my opinions that may not actually end up being good ones in your production. So, don't just believe everything I say. Your situation may be different. But as somebody that's recorded people like myself and my friend Billy and stuff on camera on a regular basis over the years, I find lavs and pencil condenser and shotguns all have their place. And you got to decide for your production whether you want that. I find that naturally, without having to do as much sound mixing, a shotgun or a pencil condenser just sounds more natural. It also seems to pick up a lot of the room, which maybe it doesn't to everybody, but in this room I find it picks up the room. I've got sound blankets in here, so that helps a little bit. Man, my allergies or something is really acting up all of a sudden. And then we also have got, lavs, and I find that both of them, you can hear a little bit of the room. So if I do this as a reverb test, for that split second I have to turn the audio processing off so you could hear. But, like at the end of the day, they both have their use cases. Now, personally, I would say what I'm probably going to do in the future when I can, I've got two Samson CO2s. I can run both of them into my Pocket 6K. I can run my field recorder with either my two wireless lavs or a lav in somebody's pocket. In the future, I think probably, especially for important production, I'm going, things I define as really important, like shooting a documentary interview, for example, I want to have multiple microphones on somebody. So hopefully if, say, the wireless messes up, or the recorder in our pocket gets turned off somehow, even though it's got a hold switch on, or the battery dies or it stops recording or whatever, I'll have a backup recording in the form of my shotgun / pencil condenser, and vice versa. If something happens to this or it sounds really bad, I got that. Another thing I've heard is that some productions will sometimes mix the two mics together to kind of sweeten the sound. That's actually an interesting idea. And I apologize for being all stuffy. I tell you, I don't know what happened. I felt fine like 20 minutes ago. Anyway, but I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll talk to you again, all of you, very soon. Goodbye, everybody.
And action.